welcome back to Tuesday Tea Talks. Today we have a special guest. She is a YouTuber and Instagram influencer. Her name is Rondell and goes by the name of Daily Delle. Welcome, Rondell. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. So you guys know we literally met online. It was a message that I sent. There was something about her profile that it just caught my attention, and I was like, you know what? Let's start building community. And tonight I want to talk about building community and how can we build community on an online world with girls that sometimes are across the country, across the nation, across the world. And, you know, I have my new friend here with me. So, Rondell, talk to me. What prompted you to answer? Say, you know what? Let me answer this crazy lady. I don't even know her. Let's just jump in.
No, I can never call you crazy. You've been amazing so far.
Thank you.
But I would say for me, honestly, it was one of two things. So the first thing for me is that in 2019, I was creating a vision board for 2020. And
Yes.
it was my first time setting aside 3 or 4 words that I really wanted my year to look like. And a big thing for me was courage. So I really wanted to dedicate myself to just stepping out there, not really overthinking things too much and just going for it, because I used to do that at one point, and then there was a season in my life where I couldn't. And I was really feeling like God telling me, okay, we need to just step out, get used to just like doing things without giving it too much thought and thinking yourself out of it, and then go ahead. So when you sent that message, it was like, yeah, this definitely aligns with my values that I'm trying to, live out for the year. And then also, when I did my research, I really liked the platform that you have here and just the mission of, trying to call women to greatness and inspire
Yes.
them. And that is another word that I had for myself, was inspire. So for this year,
That
so
is
I'm like,
awesome.
yeah, this is amazing. I just love collaborating. I love meeting people that are also running the race and trying to accomplish a good goal. So that's really where I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and respond.
And just respond. And you know what? It is funny because a lot of us, right, we hesitate. I remember when I was, I used to work for a bank and I used to do HR. And I used to hate going to those networking meetings. You know what? It was like I needed to have my work friend with me and be like, okay, you need to stand by me because I don't like networking. I don't like it. But now I've seen the power that there is in networking, right? Because maybe I have something that you don't have and vice versa. Maybe you have something that I don't have, and why not just build each other up?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's one of the things that I think here in Code to Greatness, that's what we do. We want to connect girls, such as yourself, that are there, trying to make it and, make it into maybe in the virtual world. But also, I know that you're a single mom, right,
Yeah.
Rhonda? And can you talk to us about a little bit about like the struggles of being a single mom and trying to still build your brand and having having the platform saying, you know what, or having the time of saying, you know what, I need to schedule this talk or this video or my blog, and I need to schedule it around my son. And now we're in shelter in place. So we're at home 24/7, and you have a little one. I have 3, but mine are older. So talk to me a little bit about you being a single mom, the struggles, but also the triumphs that you experience when you have, when you're a single mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my single mom situation, it started as really a relationship that I had no business being in. I'm going to be completely honest. And I got pregnant with my son suddenly. And so unfortunately, his father did not want to be involved. So it is I have 100% custodial type of situation, absentee situation. And so the negative side of that could be, well, it is really the fact that I don't have that other parent to at least co-parent with, because there are many days, especially now that he's in the 3s. I mean, people said the 2s were bad, but the 3s are like,
wait for the 4s and 5s, girl.
And so there's many days I'm like, oh my goodness, like it would be so great if I could have just called his father right now and be like, hey, can you keep him for the weekend so I could crank out some work or whatever the case may be. And so not having that, and then also my family relocated to the Atlanta area in October. And the way it happened, we were homeless for almost 2 months. And so when we finally got in a home, by the grace of God, and then we started getting on our feet, Corona hit. And so we haven't had a chance to even find any community here that we could say like, hey, I trust this person or whatever. So
Exactly.
it really, sometimes the weight is really there. And my mom and sister helped me because I live with them, but my sister's also like trying to get on her feet with a new career and things like that, and just trying to get settled. And then my mom, she had a stroke and she doesn't see that well. So she's able to do more than most stroke survivors, but still it's like she can't keep up as much with my son.
Of course.
So that's probably the hardest part for me, is just like having to balance it all. And he can be very like, you know, at this age, they want to be at your side all the time. And he loves the camera. So so when I'm like, oh, I got to tape, it's like, but without me, you know, like you want to be in the video, and it's like, you can't be in the video. So that's a struggle sometimes. And then sometimes I feel bad because it's like, okay, well, when I'm done trying to build my brand, I still have to go to a freelance gig or whatever the case may be, because that's how I've been earning my money for almost the last year. And so it's like, I can't even say, okay, now we could play. It's like, oh, I got to run out and get to this job and try to get this money so we can pay our bills and take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
But the upside of that is that it's really honed in on my multitasking skills. I've always been great at juggling a lot, but when you're a parent, you learn to juggle. It is crazy the amount of stuff you can get done in a day. And I think it also is developing something in him for him to just understand the value of hard work and to see it. Because in this stage, it's like, yeah, he's young, but I know this is the stage he's going to start remembering little things.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll be able to recall that. Like, you know what, my mom, she was able to go to work, still come home, build the brand, still play with me, still, you know, go to church or whatever. And I'm really proud that I could instill that in him in living action. He could actually see it lived out, and I can tell it to him. So, and he also gives me a great motivation, a great sense of motivation to just be like, I don't want him to go through the pitfalls that I went through. And so that reminds me of why I'm working so hard. And even though I might be tired, it's like, we just got to keep going, because if I keep going, I keep applying pressure, and I keep my faith and just following God's will for my life, he will see that my gifts make room for me. And I will, if I'm obedient, he'll open those doors. So,
oh yes, definitely. I am a firm believer in that. And I'm a firm believer that you have to start stepping right into it for the doors to open, because we can't say, yeah, God, you know, I do have faith, you know, I do have faith, but I don't move. So God is like, okay, where is your faith without action? You know, like you're not moving. So let's start moving. That is true. But like you said, there has, you know, you have struggles, right? With being a single mom, your mommy, you know, going through a stroke, your sister. So it's literally, you're surrounded by women, or your son is surrounded by strong women, right? And that's what we want. We want our sons to understand that, yes, you know what, maybe we struggle, but we made it. And you know what, we women have value, because it's something that I've seen, and it's not to say, you know, not to condone, but sometimes men or young men don't see the value of a woman. They don't. Or, you know, it's like, oh yeah, you know, the only one that I value is my mom. But over here you have an aunt, a grandma, and you have a mom. How beautiful that is for your son when he grows up to say, you know what, I want to look for a wife that has my mom's, my aunt's, my grandma's, you know, values, that they're hardworking, that they taught me since I was very little to do a lot to provide for me, you know, for my family and for others too. Talk to me about your brand. What is it about?
So Daily Delle really started as a project of me just pouring out my heart, because I was going through so much. I really started it about a year ago, May of 2019. And my family and I were living in Central Virginia. We had moved out of the Washington, D.C. area where I was born and raised. And we didn't really know anybody out there. Our neighbors were super sweet, but we just didn't have community, you know? And so I was like, man, I really just want to I've always been artistic. So I'm like, I really want to use this artistic side, but I don't know how. And then I just noticed people online posting pictures and getting collabs and doing, different opportunities. I didn't even know it was called influencing or content creation or whatever. I was like, oh, this looks cool. Okay, I'll do it.
Yes.
And so I started doing it, and I was like, if all else fails, I'll just see this as like a virtual photo album for my son and I.
Wow.
And so it started like that. And then it grew from that to, okay, well, I can eventually grow and actually do brand sponsorships and collabs and things of that nature, which I've done a few. But then God, towards the end of last year into early this year, really started tugging at my heart and letting me know, like, okay, this is great, but we need to go even deeper. Like, I'm calling
Yeah.
it even greater. And so I really started looking at my own life and just realizing, like, there's not a lot of people out there who are in my shoes and sharing it transparently.
Yeah.
And I would have a lot of women, also single mothers, come to me and just be like, your page is so inspiring. You really like lift me up. And it got more and more frequent to the point where like almost every day I would open my inbox and someone's like, you really inspire me. I love you.
Wow.
Like this, that, the third. And so God really started placing on my heart to just do that, but in like some form of ministry. But I'm still kind of in the midst of that. So, but even with our first conversation, it's like
Yes.
God was really speaking through you and just confirming it. Like, okay, yeah, like this is definitely what I need to be doing.
And let me tell you, and that is crazy because, the first meeting that we had, it was like, okay, Mariela, I mean, Rondell's going to think that you're just insane, but just say what is in your heart. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to say it, God, you're telling me to do it. So, okay, here it goes. But yes, it is true. It is amazing how God aligns people and how God aligns lives, literally, and how people just God places words in a total stranger to lift somebody up, completely stranger.
Absolutely.
But before you were coming here, I was praying, and I'm like, okay, God, I know that you have something. It's not just it's just not just a little talk, or like my other talks that is like, oh yeah, this is good, this is what we do. But this one is special, I feel. There is something that God is truly doing through building this relationship, online relationship. And we'll see, because we're still going to continue being
Right.
hopefully in each other's lives, and see where God is taking us. Can we talk about a little bit? You said that you have single women that have reached out, right? That they are telling you, you inspire me, you do this for me. But also we have, and I have experienced it, women that have come behind our backs and have tried to tear us down, right? And then sometimes are the people that are closest to us that completely sometimes even destroy us. And that's something that I want to change. I want us women to lift each other up. Can you talk to me maybe about an experience that maybe you've had with someone trying to tear you down, and you saying, wait a minute, you know what, this is, and maybe like the struggle of saying, like, let go and let God deal with it. Or maybe we have hold on to that grudge. And I'm telling you, me myself, something happened to me in 2017, and I knew these girls, right? I would have like literally died for them. And it is hard for me to bring women into my circle. It's hard. So these women, I knew them for a while. They were part of my life, and I was like there, and I got blindsided, like out of the blue. And literally, I remember it was May of 2017, and I was left like in the darkness. I was left alone. I was left with like not even, the only support was my husband, my mom, my siblings. That was it. And I was like, wait a minute, God, but I have been faithful. And wait a minute, God, I've been going to church. And wait a minute, God, like, what happened? Like literally. And I had to go through a process of a whole year to heal my heart, to heal, like even my mind, the thoughts playing over and over, the conversations, how it happened, and learn literally to forgive, and start trusting again. And the way
Mm.
I started to do it, it was like, okay, let me start diving into small groups. And God was like, yeah, I'm going to a small group, girl. And I was like, oh God, I don't like it. I don't want to. I don't want to open up my heart again. And then little by little, God started saying, okay, we go into this small group. We go into this. Now I have virtual small groups. Now I lead a small group. So
Mm.
can you talk to me a little bit maybe about an experience that you've had similar maybe to mine or different from mine that you have left like saying, wait, what happened? I thought we were okay. I thought, women were supposed to stand together and be together.
Mm. That's a really good question, because now as you were talking, I was thinking, and yesterday a situation happened to me, and when I was pregnant, a situation happened to me, but it was actually two male friends of mine.
Oh, wow.
And then because they did that, it's like the female friends actually ended up following suit, but the male ones were the perpetrators, you could say.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I will say from yesterday, it was about a debt that I owed to a friend, but they decided to go on my YouTube platform and try to air out all the dirty laundry. So I ended up spending the day doing damage control, and it's like nothing was enough. Like they just kept berating me. They called me a
Wow.
liar. They tried to come and say I wasn't qualified to speak of God, or it was ironic I was speaking of God because of this debt that I still owed,
Oh
and
my
all
God.
this kind of stuff. And I mean, just really trying to get in my head. And the crazy thing is, yesterday I literally prayed like twice as long, and I just felt the spirit so heavy. And I was like, God, just fill this house with the Holy Spirit. Like continue bringing kingdom relationships to me as you have been. Continue just pouring into me, pushing me into purpose, and so on and so forth. And anything that the devil is trying to attack me or anybody attach me on, we just rebuke it, you know? And then literally as soon as like I'm done praying, about an hour later, this situation comes up, and I'm just like, this is so crazy. So that really hurt. But the biggest one for me that I can think of right now is when I was pregnant with my son. Another male friend at the time, we were best friends. He had reached out to me because in my pregnancy, I had a lot going on. I was high risk. My family ended up moving twice. 2 cars broke down. I mean, it was like a lot happening all at the same time, a perfect storm of events, basically. And he was like, if you need to borrow my car to move, or if you need anything at all, let me know. Like his words
Mm-hmm.
verbatim. So I reached out to him and I asked him for help one time, and he literally, again, laid into me. Similar situation. You always need something. You're such a needy friend. Why you always ask me for this and that? I mean, literally like disrespecting me and my child. And
Uh-huh.
so I was really scarred from that relationship, ended up turning to a friend to seek advice, and they just pretty much doubled down on what he said. And this was a female friend. And so that's why I'm like, in those situations, it's almost like the women were like, well, he's right. I'm just going to second with him.
Mm-hmm.
You're on your own type of situation. And I saw a lot of people. My pregnancy was almost like an epiphany exodus kind of moment in my life. It was really when I woke up from years of backsliding, and God was like, no, we need to get you back here. So I
Yes.
always say my son like saved me in a way, because when I had to deal with all of that, then it's like I had to come to grips with how far I had gotten from God and where he wanted me to be. And people's attitudes towards me became so clear. It's almost like the rose-colored glasses came off, and you realize all the wolves that you had around you, in sheep's clothing. And you're just like, wow, I didn't know all these people felt this way about me, because all these years, it's like I'm pouring into them. I'm being that friend that you could call in the middle of the night and I get out of bed and help you. Financially, I was there because for many years, I was the more financially, well-off friend.
Stable. Uh-huh.
And I never held it over anyone's head. Like, I don't let money, material things, and status get to me. Like, that means nothing to me. And then for people to take advantage of that for so many years and then talk down about you to your face, and
Yeah.
like, you mean nothing, you're basically like worse than dirt underneath my shoe, that just scarred me for so long. And it took me a while to just open up. And I had just joined a new church at that time when I was pregnant. And it took me a while to just really embrace people, especially women in the women's groups, and just, open up, because I'm like, I know how this goes. I open up and then y'all are gonna hold it against me and you're gonna tell me I'm worth nothing. And you know,
Yes.
it took me a while. And so I started forming pretty good relationships from there. Unfortunately, some of them didn't last because some of them did end up being snakes, but one or two of them I still talk to on occasion. And then it opened up doors for me to meet other great people throughout the country from like sister churches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I still talk to some of them online, and I was able to meet some of them in person at conferences and things like that. But it really was a great like opening for me to trust again and say like, you know what, I can just be who I am, and if people don't like it, well then that's on them. But I really try to be a genuine friend, and I really just try to grow from each experience. So I would say that would be my biggest one.
And how do we mend our heart then after having that dissolution? You may say, because let me tell you, to me, I was like, yeah, I'm strong. I mean, it doesn't affect me. And I would tell my husband, you know, they're lost. It's okay, you know. But deep down, it kind of like leaves you like saying, wait, but like you said, I was the friend that woke up in the middle of the night if they needed something. If they broke down, I was the one going over there running and making sure that they were okay. You know, if they needed something, oh yeah, I was there. I was the one going over there. Like, you know, even sometimes, okay, guys, I'm sorry, you know, my kids, telling my kids, I'll be back, you know, so and so needs this. How do we mend our heart from that dissolution and saying, you know what, it's okay to start trusting again. It's okay. Yeah, I know it's God, but also let me tell you, me, I will fight God on it. I will fight him.
Listen, I'm so
I will
stubborn.
fight him. I'll be like, no, you know what? Relationships. Who needs relationships? I'm okay with my one friend, and then that's it. But how do we mend? How do we come back from that?
I think for me, and I literally just put up a YouTube video about friendships today. Like God is working so much through this, but I think for me, when I think about it, it's really getting to a point where one, you are okay by yourself, so that way you're not seeking validation through friendships. So that way, if they do end, because sadly a lot of them don't last a lifetime like you would like, then you understand your root is that it's not that I can't survive without friends, it's that friends are beneficial rather than a necessity. So it's like, instead of me collaborating, like I need this so I can feel validated, I need these connections so I can feel like I'm valuable, or I need something, it's like, you know what, this is beneficial because I'm able to pour into these people, I'm able to grow and learn something from these people, and then God can get the increase and the glory out of that. So I think it's really a balance of, because sometimes we see one of two, it's like, I don't need anybody, I'm a lone wolf, I don't need any connection, and you just get bitter and cold-hearted. Or you end up seeking validation all the time. Like, I always the friend, I always the invite, So if you are okay with you, if Rondell gets to a point where it's like, you know what, I'm a daughter of the King, I'm good with my own company, me and God, we're fine, then he'll bring those relationships as we need it. And those people will continue to pour into you in ways that you don't even really even know that you need it, really. You'll be like, wow, I needed this, like, thanks.
True.
You know, so it really is a balancing act.
Wow, that is, you're right. Let me tell you, just like talking, and I'm like, all right, God, you're still like dealing with my heart. Thank you. How do you then, Rondao, like you said, you know, you pour out and you have so much to give, right? And I know that you said that God is calling you into ministry, and God is, where do you see yourself going with ministry? Where do you see going? And I'm going to tell you about me, right? This talks started going, you know, I didn't want to have them faith-based, because I was like, you know what, I want them to appeal for everybody. And I see this as a ministry. I do totally see it as a ministry. But God is like, literally, no, wait a minute, Mariela, you need to come back. No, you know what? We need to go back, because the foundation is God. So where do you see yourself? Where do you think God is leading you towards ministry? Because ministry can look, you know, in different ways. Yeah. But how do you, where do you think, or how do you know that God is calling you into ministry? What is the tug or the nudge that you feel like saying, okay, this might be God speaking?
So it's one of many reasons. This is an awesome question. I love this. But the first thing for me would be the fact that this is so counter flesh for me. Like, if you would have told me 10 years ago, hey, you're going to start a ministry, I literally would have laughed and probably been like, you are ridiculous. There's no way. Because I literally was growing up with like, I don't want to leave ministry. I don't want to marry a pastor. I don't want to be with anyone. Like, because I was just like, it's too much expectation. Everyone's watching you and all of this. So I'm like, okay, this has to be the Holy Spirit. Like, there's no way I will come up with this on my own. Secondly, I would say that for me, I know God speaks to me through repetition, usually either through a word. So like, again, when you and I first talked, or other people around me, or sometimes complete strangers would like come up to me and be like, yeah, you must work in this industry. Or, you know, they'll ask like, I know one time I was at a church and the person thought that I was like one of the deaconesses there, or like one of the workers. And I was like, oh no, because I was just there helping. And I was like, oh no, I'm not, you know, like a part of a ministry or anything. They're like, oh really, you just look like you fit in, like this is what you should be doing. And I didn't know the person from a can of paint. So it's like things like that might happen, or I'll just keep hearing it over and over and over. Like I'll turn on the radio, it's like, hey, you should start that ministry, or oh, people started ministries, check this out. Or it's just a word or two will keep coming up. So I know that, and then it's like you can't escape it. Like you try to run from it, and it's like, no, come back. And then you try to go another way. It's like, nope, come back.
It is
So
true.
I'm like, that's how I really know God's talking to me. And for me personally, I feel like ministry is going to manifest in a way that includes video and media, because literally doors keep opening that are similar to this, whether it's an interview on paper, in like my magazine feature I was in, or an interview like this. It's like, and I love doing video. Like it comes so naturally to me, and I didn't think it would when I decided to do a YouTube channel, but it's like, hey, you know, this is great. So I really feel like it's going to be in that kind of way. I can't say if it's going to be me speaking on video for another company, or I mean another ministry, or if it's going to be like me on video for my own organization. Like, I don't know, but I really have been getting that clarity. Like it's like you're gonna be a face that people know.
All right. Awesome. And let me tell you that now that you're speaking about that, and having what happened to you yesterday with the person coming in and literally attacking you on your platform, that is something like to think about, saying like, wait a minute, why is this person coming to my platform to attack me? Maybe it is, I'm on the right path. Maybe this is the platform that God wants me to use for me to speak. Right. And it's funny because, you know, I laugh when people come in and they start criticizing us on like literally blasting, or, you know, putting negative thoughts, negative, you know, comments on either IG or YouTube. But to me, it is funny because they're like, oh yeah, because we know you. We know you. We know your past.
Right.
Well, you know what? Because you know my past, you know I'm a different person. Because you know my past, you know that I have grown. This is who I am. You know, because you know my past, you know that I didn't stay stagnant, that I've been evolving, that I've been growing, that I've been researching, that I've been, you know, looking for connections, that I've been meeting other people, and I have worked on myself. Because you know me, you should know that I am who I am saying I am. So don't come at me telling me, oh, you whatever, you know, you shouldn't be talking about Christian or whatever. Don't. Because if you truly know me, then you'll be like, wow, yes, I do see the change. And wow, I do see that you have grown. And wow, you are different. Yes, and I know. So good for you, girl. Continue using your voice. Continue using your passion. God knows that He has something bigger for you. We have talked, you know, here and there, and I believe it. I feel it in my heart that God is calling you to a bigger purpose. Bigger than, and I think the first time that I told you, like the doors are going to be so wide open that you're going to try to close them in, and you're not going to be able to close them because God is going to be like, wait a minute, this is your time to grow, and better step in and let these blessings just overflow. So you continue, you know, and let the haters hate and speak whatever they want. You continue working on yourself. You continue growing. You continue making sure that you're the best mom that you can be, that you're the best daughter that you can be, the best sister that you can be, and the best YouTuber that you can be. And, you know, be honest, continue being honest with your chats, your IG lives. with what your content that you put, because that's what we want to see. We want to see real people talking, not just what we, like we have all the celebrities that is just that they just put a front. No, we want to see the reality, the people, how we are on a day to day, the struggles that we go through. Because you know what? That makes you relatable. I can say, wait, she's going through the same thing I am going. And it's not painted beautifully saying like, you know what, we have no problems, everything is so gorgeous, we're okay, and then we're falling apart. So you continue doing you. Don't let anybody put you down. Like I said, God is about to step in and overflow you, and you need to be just prepared to be there and receive it. But before we go tonight, I want to ask you one last question. I want to ask you, how are you called? Well, it's on the side, to greatness. I was like, wait, I don't even know where I am. How are you called to greatness?
I'm called to greatness by, I'm going to stick with that word, inspire. Like, I really just love inspiring. And I really love to hear stories of people that find me randomly and they're like, oh my goodness, like your story saved me today because I felt like I couldn't go on, or your story made me want to double check and see what I'm doing, or even just, I just wanted to check up on you and make sure that you're okay and you're in a good place. So it's like, that's how I'm called to greatness, by continue to inspire and continue to pour into people and just keep loving on them and not allow the negativity to make you want to retreat.
Yes, yes. Awesome. Well, thank you again for being part of us, Call to Greatness. Thank you so much. And I hope this is not the last time that we come into this platform to have, to chat.
Absolutely.
But I do want to say thank you. And I hope to see you soon. We're going to put your information so everybody out there can go and follow you. They can follow your social media. What is it again? Can you remind it to us? What is your IG?
My IG is daily_Delle. So DAILY_DELLE.
And your YouTube?
My YouTube is those two words with a space. So daily space Delle.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to tag you in here. And thank you again for being part of us.
Thank you for having me. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.